there was no such thing as a measuring spoon. Nana would just throw it in. And I'd say, Nana, let me measure it with my hand, quick, quick. You know, it was in the dish already. She was just great. Everything was fresh, fresh, fresh. And that's what she believed in. And it showed from what came out of her cooking. My grandmother's recipe my grandmother had many, many good recipes. Potatoes, onions, and eggs, polenta, I just can go on and on. Neck bones with macaroni with fresh basilico and a lot of garlic in it. We would suck those bones like they were the most delicious filet mignon. We loved it.
All right, we're going to start our pear and blue cheese salad with some vinaigrette, and some pear-infused vinegar is going to be used. We have some mixed salad greens here. So first thing you want to do is you want to peel your pear. And you really want to use a pear that's overripe. So don't worry if it has brown marks on it, because you want the sweetness to come through. Cut it in slices. I'm going to remove the core, the seeds actually. And the sweetness of the pears and the tartness of the vinaigrette with the blue cheese, unbelievable taste. The flavors come right through. Okay, top your salad with the pears, and we're ready to start our vinaigrette. Okay, we're going to start with some extra virgin olive oil, about a half a cup. Some pear-infused white vinegar. You want to use white vinegar with this dish. I'd say about a quarter cup. And salad dressing, it's to your taste. A little garlic, seasoned salt, some brown sugar, about a tablespoon and a half, and some oregano, some dry oregano. We'll whisk it together. A little bit more vinegar. Okay, we're ready. You need to crumble some blue cheese on top of the pears, and then we're going to drizzle our vinaigrette. And you give that a little toss. And there you have it. Fresh pears, blue cheese, tossed salad greens, and a pear vinaigrette.
There is nothing more important than family. And one sure way of keeping family together is tradition. Our family would like to share with your family a recipe that has been passed down for over 60 years, from generation to generation. My great-great-grandmother, Nana Cucina, passed down a recipe about wine cookies. And my Nana today is going to share with you the wine cookies that she shared with us years ago. Standing before you is third and fifth generation of family.
My grandmother, Anna Contino, had the most delicious wine cookie recipe that everyone knew it in the town. She would call me up and say, Dina, please come over and help me with the cookies. And I would go over and help her. They were delicious. We started with one batch, we ended up with 10 batches because everybody in the neighborhood said, Anna, you better give me some of those wine cookies when you make them. They were delicious. They were crunchy, they were very tasty, and they were enjoyable. For years, we've done it. I did it with my mother and did it with her children. I did it with my children, and now I am doing it with my grandchildren. It's a beautiful tradition. We would stay around, all us children, and watch my grandmother and me do the wine cookies. It was a beautiful thing to see. We just enjoyed being together as a family. She had a famous expression, the more you give, the more it grows. And it certainly did. Nana always had enough cookies to give the town.
Dina Santillo of Inwood sent in her Nana Contino, Anna Contino that is, recipe for wine cookies. They come from the region of Calabria. I personally never made them, never tasted them, but when Dina sent me in her video, I had to try them. So you need 2.5 cups of flour, or 2 heaping cups, a 1/2 cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, 1 stick of butter or 1/2 cup of oil, 1/2 cup of red Burgundy wine, and some honey. Okay, we have a stick of butter melted, and we're going to incorporate the wine in with the butter, a 1/2 cup of wine, and we're going to let that come to a boil. We're going to add our flour, our 1/2 cup of sugar, and a pinch of salt. I'm going to use a paddle for this recipe. You don't need a dough hook. Okay. Once that mixes, we're going to start to incorporate our wine and our butter. Slowly add it until it forms a soft dough. Okay, our dough is come together. Move the paddle. We're going to knead this dough until it's shiny and smooth. Now, if you want, you can knead it right onto the countertop. You don't have to use a board. Just push it away from you and keep working it. You can feel the warmth of the wine. Okay. All right, you're going to take a piece, roll it into a cigar shape. Cut off the ends. With a cheese grater, using the back of the cheese grater, not the rough, coarse side, cut off about the size of your thumb. Press the dough down onto the grater, and then roll it up towards you, and pinch the seam and the ends so they don't open during frying. Okay, I've rolled the whole tray out, and now they're ready for frying. You want to use about 2 to 3 cups of vegetable oil at a medium to high temperature, but you don't want it too hot because they will burn. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to bring this tray over and we're going to start frying, and then we can make our honey glaze. Okay, we're ready to fry them. Our oil's nice and hot. A few at a time. Okay, you just keep adding a few batches at a time. You don't want to move them too much. Okay, we're ready to make our honey glaze. I'm using 16 ounces of pure honey. Okay, and a tablespoon of sugar. And we're going to bring it over to the cooktop, and we're going to let this boil. And then we're going to coat our wine cakes. Okay, you see it's bubbling with the sugars dissolved. And you don't want it to crystallize around the side of the pan. So this looks like it's just about ready. Now that the honey and the sugar are incorporated and it's hot, I'm going to add the wine cakes a few at a time. Give them a good turn. Okay, add a few more. Coat them pretty well. I mean, you want to turn them a few times. You see that they're all glazed. Okay. Okay, now you can top these with any kind of nut that you like, walnuts or pecans. You can leave them plain. You can even roll them in powdered sugar before you put the honey on them. I just like putting a little sprinkle on them of confection. Okay, and there you have it. Calabrian wine cookies, or wine cakes.